Always great having my next guest on the show. It's Mario Bautista, who picked up a unanimous decision victory over Ricky Simone this past weekend at UFC Vegas 84. Mario, you're now in the official rankings. You're number 14. You got to be feeling high on life right about now.
Oh no, it feels pretty good, to get that number next to my name. It's something I wanted. But it was kind of short-lived. You look at that number and then you realize like there's just such a hard road ahead of you. So it's just time to move forward and look for the next thing.
I think, all of the hardcore fans out there that follow the sport, they know exactly who you are and just how good you are. But this has to be kind of like your coming out party to the world, right? And the whole MMA world out there of knowing exactly just, this guy's a legit contender.
Yeah, no, I was pretty glad I was able to showcase that, showcase all my skills and toughness, grit, pretty much everything, and it takes like an opponent like Ricky to really pull that out of me. So it was pretty cool to get a lot of love from all types of different people, not only from fighters, but just, you know, your casual fans.
And I think I noticed that your Instagram grew by a couple thousand. Is that accurate? How many more followers do you have now?
Yeah, I think it went from like 8 to 11,000, which isn't much, but definitely grew a little bit for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just going to continue to grow, my man. Are you getting? I spoke to Lupi Godinez recently, and I'm sure it's got to be way worse for females. But for you, as a guy that's rising in the rankings, becoming more well known, have you gotten any like weird messages? Because the MMA fans, they can be a little bold and get in the DMs.
I feel I wouldn't say weird, um, but I've had some. You definitely get all your haters for sure. Like if you bet it against me and you lost money, yeah, they're definitely messaging me and saying, all the hurtful things they can say, which I don't care about. But if you won money, then they show me love. So uh, it is what it is. Yeah.
Do you respond to any of that, good or bad?
Some of them I do. If they say something, they won't say I lost them money at first. They'll just say something hurtful or whatever, and I'll message them back saying like, "Quit betting, you dummy," or whatever.
Mhm.
And then you find out, yeah, then they did lose money, this and that. So, but great fight, man. That was a good fight, but still, like, you suck or whatever.
Isn't it kind of crazy how, like, I mean, because mixed martial arts and combat sports is just getting bigger and bigger, but there seems to be more accessibility to the MMA fighters versus like, NBA players, NFL players. I don't ever see that engagement from like those big four sports, NBA, NFL, hockey, and baseball. Is it kind of crazy that seems to be the case? Do you think that'll ever change?
I don't think so. Maybe those guys like don't have. Maybe they just have like assistants running their Instagrams or something. As to where maybe a fighter like myself, like I see all those messages. I'll check them. I'll run through them. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure you could block them all, but I'm not trying to shy away from that. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
look at it and kind of laugh every once in a while. Sometimes I'll say some funny things too. So, uh, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, all for a good laugh. I'm sure you get plenty of things you chuckle about. One thing that I, was very, very surprised about Mario, and hopefully you can update me that this has changed, but no performance of the night, no fight of the night. I thought that you guys for sure would have the fight of the night. And last time I checked, I don't even think they gave out a fight of the night. Has that changed?
Uh, no, not from what I've heard. I heard like there were so many finishes on the card that I guess they gave up or they used that money for those fights. So I'm not too sure because usually they do hand one out for fight of the night no matter what. So uh, yeah, it was kind of disappointing to hear, but at the same time I got my win, um, and I really don't beg for those kind of things.
Mm. I can't imagine you guys not getting fight of the night. That blows my mind. You guys clearly had a great performance. I don't think there was one fight on that card that would be in the same running as you guys. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%, and from what I've heard from like from the fans, um, from fighters and everything. They're saying that was such an amazing fight. Uh, I would go through the comments, oh, best fight of the night, best fight of the year, even though it's the beginning of the year. Um, so yeah, I was pretty surprised that we didn't get it.
Yeah, that's got to be disappointing. Let's talk about the fight, shall we? Again, man, you looked amazing in there. Early on. You landed a bunch of flying knees. It seemed like you were really kind of in tune as to when he was going to shoot. That you felt like that was something that you could capitalize and hurt him on. Was that like part of the game plan going in?
Yeah, no, that was definitely a part of it. When he'd shoot, I was trying to land my knee, but at the same time, I started to realize he knew that, and so when I would throw my knee, he would throw a good left hook, catching me while I'm throwing it. So it's just like a game of chess, tit for tat. Like he's thinking ahead, and now I have to think ahead of that hook that he's going to throw. So it was a definitely a chess battle in there, and whoever made the mistake first or little things like that. So but luckily I was able to see those things and capitalize on some certain scenarios and moments and kind of get ahead on the scorecards.
Yeah, there was some audio after the first round, or you talking to your corner, basically saying that, I got to stop, throwing those knees just because he is recognizing that and timing it right. So that was accurate. It wasn't 100% like I didn't hear it clearly, but that was you telling your corner, you recognizing his adjustment.
Yeah, no, I told my coach, I was like, I got to stop throwing that knee because I don't think I said it because, but I was like, because he's throwing that left hook, he's catching me, he's trying to time me, throwing that knee, and I told him I'm going to have to jump, jump knee, that way my face would be out of the way, but I couldn't even find the timing on that. So that's what I was telling my corner.
Mhm. You stuffed a lot of takedowns. When you did get taken down, you were able to get right back up to your feet, man. And I always find that to just be just so important as a mixed martial artist, man. When you get taken down by someone as big and as strong as Simone is, and you're able to just kind of get right back up so quickly, I mean, that's got to just give you so much more confidence in the fight to know that you're going to be able to dictate where this fight takes place.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you could stop the takedown completely, that's even better. But going into that fight, I knew, especially in the first round, if he got in on the leg, like he might get a takedown. But I trusted myself so much, like in being able to get up. But it was just a matter of getting up in a timely fashion, and I was able to do that. I've watched so many fights over the years. I've been doing this for 12 years now, and I understand the importance of getting up from the bottom, in such a close stand-up fight. Or if I'm winning the stand-up fight, you need to get up. Otherwise, they're just going to try to burn the clock, and you could lose a lot of time being on bottom.
Any big surprises in the fight? Anything that he did or didn't do that, took you, I guess, by surprise?
I was just a little surprised by his power. And I shouldn't have been. He's had some good finishes with his hands, but I was a little surprised by the power, and then him timing that left hook that kind of threw me off a little bit. Um, and then honestly, I thought he'd be a little bit more relentless with the takedown attempts, um, and kind of chain wrestle a little bit more. I was kind of expecting that, but he would shoot in one time, and I would stuff it, and he would just completely get off of me. So those were the little things.
So going into the third round, in your mind, how did you score rounds one and two? Did you feel you were up 2-0 going into the third, or do you think it could have been 1-1?
I think it could have been 1-1 because that knockdown in the first. Um, so it could have been 1-1, and that's just kind of my mindset. And no matter what, even if I lost first and second, I was still going to try to finish that third fight that third round the way I did. So going into it, I just try to put up numbers, try to stay active, and just use whatever I had in the gas tank and just
Yeah.
kind of leave it all out there, because this was my one shot, to get into the top 15. So I really wanted to make sure I gave it everything.
Yeah, it seemed like you were the one that was making sure that you had more volume in the third round. Is that kind of what your coaches told you too? Just make sure you're the more active fighter.
Yeah, I mean that's always what you kind of want to do anyway. But towards the end of the fight, you kind of lose power. He lost power. I knew he wasn't going to be able to hit me as hard as he did in the first. So at that point, it was just about volume. I felt like maybe I wouldn't be able to knock him out in the third round, but I could definitely throw, 100, 200 punches if I had to. So that was kind of my mindset leading going into that third.
He did land a big left hook that looked like maybe it hurt you for a moment. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about that? Like, were you hurt? And if so, did it affect you at all?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say hurt, but it did definitely jar me. I think one thing that really helped out is when I did throw my knee, when he caught me with that left hook, I was kind of off the ground already. So when he hit me, that just kind of, took me off balance. Um, and, kind of took most of that shock. You know, if I was planted, I think it probably would hurt a lot more. But I got hit. Next thing you know, I'm face down, hands on the mat, and he's on my back. So, but I was able to get up and get back on that single leg and work my way back up and just move around. And I think just being in such good shape, I was able to recover fairly quickly.
And Mario, we've seen a lot of questionable judging decisions over the years, right? So I feel like worst case scenario, you had to feel like you won 29-28. How confident did you feel though before the judges actually, rendered their decision?
I felt pretty confident, at that point. Yeah, I want to win, but at the same time, it's just like I did everything I could in that fight. So whatever the judges say, like that's the decision. I made sure I did my part, and now it's up to them. So, but I knew, like I said, I did everything I could, and like from a fighter to fighter, if I were to talk to Ricky right now, like we know who won that fight for sure, and who was going to win that fight if there was more rounds, or you know, we knew.
Did you talk to him post fight? And if so, what did he tell you?
No, I didn't talk to him. I just said good job, and that was pretty much it. So he didn't look like in the talking kind of mood.
Fair enough. How'd you celebrate? Where'd you guys go to eat?
Where did we went to Gallagher's? I don't know if you've ever been there before. It's like a
No.
steakhouse.
Okay.
I got a filet mignon, uh, some garlic fries, some crab legs. So it was pretty good. And then we walked around Vegas a little bit, and I tried my luck at some roulette, and I got lucky, I guess.
Oh, how much did you win?
I left with 1,000, so I started with no, I left with more. I started with 300, and I left with 18,
Oh,
so
okay.
15. So it was a good night.
Yeah. So really, what you should have an extra at least 48,000 in your pocket for not getting that performance of the night or fight of the night bonus. But hey, I guess maybe next time.
Yeah, next time we'll see.
Well, congrats on winning some money gambling. When you do have a steak, how do you like it? Are you a medium rare guy or do you like it well done?
Medium rare. With those steaks, you have to do it medium rare. I've had a friend, he ordered a filet mignon, and she asked him, "How would you like it done?" And he said, "Well done." And I looked over at him. I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?" And then he said it was dry. I'm like,
Uh,
"Well, yeah, it was well done." So
do you
yeah,
ever like
medium
to
rare guy.
medium rare? Okay, yeah, me as well. Sometimes I like it medium. It depends on where I'm at, but yeah, I'm with you there. Do you ever are you a guy that likes to have a couple of alcoholic drinks every now and then? Like, is that something you do when you celebrate?
If I'm eating food, yeah, I don't really like to go out and drink, just kind of like a night out kind of thing. If I'm gonna have something good where I know it's gonna be, like that steak, I'll definitely have like a blue moon before, for sure. Make
H-
it taste a little bit better.
Yeah. Have you ever had an Allagash White?
No, what is that?
So it's like it's similar to a Blue Moon. It's actually the brewery is from where I'm from in Maine. If you ever are in New England, they're all over the place on draft. I highly suggest. It's like a Belgian like white like ale. If you like Blue Moon, you'll love Allagash White.
Oh gosh, why? Okay, I'll have to remember that one.
Yeah, remember that for next time. Yeah, man, and I love the call out post fight. You mentioned Rob Font. Did you hear any response? Did he tweet back at you or anything?
No, I didn't see anything online or anything. So we'll see. I was talking to my manager, and I guess if that fight does come about, I guess he does need quite a bit of time to make weight, I guess, because he's a bigger 35er. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes about on that fight. Um, but I really like it. You know, I just went through a camp fighting, or to prepare for a wrestler. So I would like to see a camp getting ready for someone like Rob Font, a good striker.
I love it. And if the Font fight doesn't happen, I'd personally would really like to see you in there with Davison Figueiredo. He's number 8 in the division right now. What do you think of that matchup?
I like it. You know, he's a little bit smaller guy, so I think even though he's smaller, he's still pretty strong. So I think it'd be a great fight. You know, he's a former champion, so we'll see what happens after this Cody fight. I think he's going to beat Cody, but he's such a big name, and I think he might want someone with a little bit more, I guess, star power per se. But we'll see. Maybe by the time that fight might happen, I might get another win and a little bit more, promoting power.
For sure. Dominic Cruz, another former champion. He's number 10. How would you like that matchup?
I'd like it, for the name, but at the same time, like he's just a little bit older. Um, I don't want to sound mean or anything, but I just wouldn't like to fight him. You know, he's such a legend of the sport, and I think he deserves those money fights and those bigger names. But if it did get offered to me, I would obviously take it.
Sounds like, based on your answer, that you feel like you probably put it on him at this point of your career. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and based on his age and all the surgeries he's had, and like I've seen, and then his fights that he's had, against like Henry and and the training footage that I've seen of him online, I just, you know, I would like a tougher matchup.
Okay. Fair enough. Time frame. When ideally would you like to jump back in there?
I I was looking for maybe springtime, early summer. You know, if I can get three in this year, evenly spaced out, I think that'd be best. Learn and grow in between those times, and really get prepared and ready for these fights. When you're at this stage, at this caliber, I really want to make sure I'm ready and fully prepared to take on any of these guys.
So April, May time, that makes sense to you?
Yeah, like April, May, June.
Okay.
That sounds about right to me.
That UFC 300 card is looking absolutely stacked. Would that make sense? Would you like to be on that event?
When is that?
I think it's in April, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh man, yeah, if they can get me on UFC 300, that'd be such a big card. A lot of eyes on that, and I always put on a show, so I think they would put me on that one, and it'd be a good one to be on.
I love it, man. And there's so many great fights already announced here for 2024. Are there any fights that stand out to you that, just as like a fan, because at the end of the day, even though you're in the UFC, you're still a fan of the sport. Are there any big fights that you're really looking forward to watching more than others here this upcoming year?
That fun one would be like Conor McGregor versus Chandler. That's one that I would look forward to. I know we've been looking forward to that one for a while now, so hopefully it comes through. Um, I really haven't looked at the fight cards coming up lately, so um, I'd have to take a look at them. But definitely that one. That one would be on my radar.
Yeah. Well, right now it's scheduled for International Fight Week. So the event would actually take place on June 29th, which is my birthday. So I was thinking ahead of time about getting together with friends and getting like an Airbnb on water and like doing it up big. But who knows? With my luck, they'll probably cancel the event, or it won't happen. That Connor fight will never happen.
Right. Yeah, you got to be careful about that one. They could push that one a year back from now too. So
Right. Tell me about it, man. Let me get a couple of fight picks from you. This weekend, UFC 297, another monster card. The middleweight titles on the line. Sean Strickland, Dricus Du Plessis. Who do you see winning that fight? How do you see it actually ending?
um, I'm gonna go with Strickland on that one. I think he's just gonna be a little bit more technical, like in the stand up, the footwork. Um, but Duplessis is just like a big man, and if he hits you or grabs a hold of you, it's gonna be a tough night for Strickland. But It's that thing they talk about, when you become a champion, you become 30% better.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see what Strickland can do in that fight.
Can't wait for that main event. The co-main event is actually for the women's bantamweight title. Rocky Pennington, Myra Bueno Silva. Who do you pick in that one?
I'm gonna go with Pennington. Yeah, she's pretty tough and has been around a long time, so I'm gonna go with Pennington.
Do you think she finishes her, or would this be going the distance? Do you think?
No, I'm gonna go with distance. Yeah, I think it's gonna be probably a back and forth fight.
All right. And then UFC 298, Volkanovski's taking on Topuria. That's a weight class up from you. A lot of people feel like Volk, very well could be the number one pound for pound. I know it's Makachev right now, but do you think Volk hangs on to his title, or do you think we're going to have the new breed claiming the belt?
Okay, that's a fight that I'm looking forward to right there. I'm gonna go with Volk. I think he's been in some good fights, like good title fights, and he's done well, and he knows how to prepare for fighters. So I'm gonna go with Volk on that one.
Okay, I'm with you too. I think it's tough to pick against Volk. On that same card, Mario, is Marab and Cejudo. We talked about that fight a little bit the last time we spoke, but has your opinion changed at all? Do you still feel the same way, or do you think there's a chance that something different could happen from what you said previously?
Did I say Marab was gonna win?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm still gonna go with Marab. I think Marab just sets such a high pace, and Henry, he's been out of it a little bit. So, and especially over 3 rounds, it's pretty tough to keep up with Marab. So, I'm gonna go with Marab on that one.
All right. And as far as like the best pound for pound fighter in the world right now, do you think it's Islam Makhachev, or who do you think it is right now? And if you had to give me your pick for all time, who do you think's the best pound for pound ever?
I think right now it's a toss up between Islam and John Jones. John just needs to be a little bit more active. Um, but Islam right now, and I think of all time, it would have to be Mighty Mouse. I think it's going to be Mighty Mouse for a very long time. So, just the things he's done in the cage and the octagon and what he's still doing right now, I think he's going to be holding on to that for a while.
So if you had to give me like your Mount Rushmore, people talk about GSP, John Jones, Anderson Silva. Obviously, you have Mighty Mouse on there. Who would be the other three?
Yeah, GSP, Mighty Mouse, John Jones, Khabib. I'd put Benson Henderson up there. What do I got? One more.
Well, there's only four on the for Mount Rushmore, so it's tough. It's a tough choice to make.
Well, chisel Benson Henderson on there. So those would be it. Yeah.
All right. I love it, man. And is it, do you think about like just the progression for yourself, like you being in that conversation one day? You're still like such a young fighter, and I know you still have a lot more to accomplish to be considered, in that group of guys, but is that something that obviously, you aspire to achieve one day?
That definitely be a goal, and that's a really, really tough and long goal. Um, but yeah, well, we'll see how far I can take this. To be here right now, if I told myself, 15 years ago that I would be in this spot, I would tell myself that you're crazy. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in 15 years from now, I'll tell myself that I was wrong. So we'll see.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, man. Well, Mario, as always, I appreciate your time, man. Great talking to you again. Congratulations on a huge win and cracking the top 15 of the bantamweight division. Before we do sign off, as always, man, I want to give you the floor. Anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Yeah, I just want to thank the MMA lab for helping me out, all my teammates, everyone that gave me rounds for this, Radium Sports Agency, and all the fans out there. And then I just wanted to thank you for having me on once again.